Damn, has it been a crazy few days here? It feels like even my dreams are being invaded by what is going on here to the point that I have like Sam Bankman-Fried coming out in my dreams, and I can't even escape the news cycle then. It has been a wild period in cryptocurrency that is still continuing with the crazy market tumultuousness, with the upheavals. It is a brand new day in crypto as we've entered a new era, as the finance bro era appears to be over with what's going on with Sam Bankman-Fried, with FTX and the deal with Binance and everything that's being uncovered. So we're going to be getting into that. Wanted to take a little bit more casually as we go ahead and look at some of the stuff that's been playing out primarily through Twitter and what the mainstream media has been picking up on their end. So yeah, sit back, grab yourself a beverage if you can, and relax as we dive into what is going on in crypto and that you need to know about as usual. Remember to subscribe if you always want to stay up to date with what is trending in crypto, rumors, gossip, sentiments, and happenings. And remember to hit like also if you enjoy these videos. Thank you guys so much for joining and for your support here. What's going on, everyone joining live? Pothead, Amiris, oof indeed. Nicholas, big hug right back, a big bullish hug. Hopefully those times come up soon. It seems like it might be a little bit of a longer crypto winter for sure. And Dreamcatcher's here for the bloodbath, and that's exactly what it looks like. So as you can see here, you have Bitcoin down 13.8%. It feels like a lot more than that because as I was saying in the first part of this video, when I uploaded it when I was driving, Bitcoin was just at $21,000 a few days ago. Right now it's sitting at 15,900, although it's gone lower than that to even 15,700 today. You have Ethereum down around $1,100. It seems to be settling around there, but it could just as easily continue to the downside. It hasn't really stabilized for any sort of long period of time at that price. It's down 16.9%. But I guess the good news is that Ethereum has officially gone ultrasound. More ETH has been burned than has been issued since the merge has happened. And I think that will fundamentally play a role in Ethereum being one of the more bullish tokens. When we do turn bullish, or maybe it is what starts the bull market, I do wonder when fundamentals will catch up. But I think we're going to have to see what goes on with this contagion, see what kind of funds have to sell ETH that they've been holding on to, who gets weeded out here, and how much gets sold first. So we will eventually find bottom, but are we there yet? I don't know. We're going to look at, for example, what Arthur Hayes has to say about that situation later on in the video, so stay tuned. When we're looking at a mix-up, Solana has been plummeting and plummeting, quite related to what's going on here since they were being pushed a lot by Alameda Research. That is basically FTX. They're super intertwined. It's down 40.3% today. That is pretty extreme. It went from, what was it yesterday, the number 11 spot down to the number 15 spot, although it recently was briefly overtaken by even Tron, which was one of the heroes of the last bull cycle. We'll see if it settles there. And you have FTT token back down around $2.20. It's sitting at the 102 spot. So it's not even on the first page anymore. Madness. And the overall market crap indeed for cryptocurrencies down 13.8% at 831,314,000. It looks like ETH gas prices are up there too, which is why we're having a nice burn. Let's take a look actually at the burn. I wasn't going to visit it, but let's do that. Supply change. Whoa, that's pretty insane. Minus 3,687 ETH. Basically, we're in the negative since the merge. So I think this is huge. ETH is ultrasound. It's burning substantially more than, well, Bitcoin isn't burning any really, but the flippening, y'all. I don't know what it is. But I don't think it has to do with dolphins. Let's put it that way. Could be coming up soon. Anyway, sad day, tried, but CZ of Binance did tweet this out about 2 hours ago. He did try, as he had announced with the letter of intent, to try to buy out FTX and bail out one of the biggest crypto exchanges, and the people who have funds lost and locked there. It's not just average people, it's also institutions, it's hedge funds. I had even seen that pension funds might have been invested here with Alameda Research and FTX. So all sorts of entities are facing real pain here, and they could be trying to stay away from crypto for some time. It's really, really disappointing to see this, to be honest, on my behalf. Although not too surprising that we still have some bad players that are involved here. Yeah, there is a part two, Renee. Just wanted to really dissect a little bit more or show you guys more of what's going on here for posterity. So Binance had announced that they weren't going to be buying FTX. This was the tweet. As a result of corporate due diligence, as well as the latest news report regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations, we have decided that we will not pursue the potential acquisition of FTX.com. In the beginning, our hope was to be able to support FTX's customers. Ooh, the pain I'm hearing from some of them right now. I had screenshotted some of that, but I didn't pull it up right now. But let's just say that I'm seeing suicide hotlines being posted. And that's something that I didn't even see to a great degree happen when 3 Arrows Capital went down this summer and we really hit the lows. Like, ETH hasn't hit the lows of back then just yet. Not to say that it won't, and Bitcoin as well. But yeah, I didn't notice that there were many suicide hotlines being posted. But with FTX just being so big, I'm seeing a little bit more of that. So hopefully nobody's taking their lives. But it is a sign that we are really reaching that final capitulation or bottom. So we really are super close this time. But we are obviously going to have to rebuild quite a lot of faith before we can move up. Less, again, fundamentals like ETHs help support that. So our hope was to be able to support FTX's customers to provide liquidity, but the issues are beyond our control or ability to help. Ouch. Every time a major player in an industry fails, retail customers will suffer. We have seen over the last several years that the crypto ecosystem is becoming more resilient, and we believe in time that outliers that misuse user funds will be weeded out by the free market. As regulatory frameworks are developed and as the industry continues to evolve toward greater decentralization, the ecosystem will grow stronger. I think Richard Hart was right down here. New lows. Here we go, and we have continued to make those. I wanted to point out, there was nothing Binance could do. It seems that the hole that they saw was massive, perhaps, in FTX's balance sheet, and there might have been downright fraud. They, again, deleted the tweet where Sam Bankman-Fried had said that assets were safe and that they were not lending out customer funds. Maybe in fact they were. That seems to be what everything is pointing to here. So Binance walks away from the deal to rescue FTX. There was something interesting here. It looks like before Sam Bankman-Fried himself found out that Binance was backing out on the deal, this was published on media. So in an internal FTX Slack channel, Mr. Bankman-Fried on Wednesday wrote, "We obviously just saw Binance's statement. They relayed that to the media first, not to us, and had not previously informed us or expressed those reservations." Well, I don't really think they owe you very much. So Binance had, the CZ of Binance had written this prior to announcing it was official that they were not going to be buying out FTX, which is troubling for this space. It creates a lot more uncertainty, of course. But he had written, "Binantians, given the event that transpired over the last couple of days, I want to reiterate a few points. One, we did not master plan this," although I do think he's a wizard, "or anything related to it." I think he really is a huge part of what catalyzed all this coming to light. Yeah, there was a lot going down here, possibilities that just because Solana is supposed to unlock millions of tokens tomorrow, that this was all going to come to a head anyway. That would have to have been sold in the open market. That was going to create insolvency issues. So it looks like there was just not much left in Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX's toolbox to try to hide a lot of the problems that are now surfacing. But this was at least spurred along a little bit earlier, I think, by what CZ has done by first somehow uh, not pretending, creating some sort of letter intent to buy them and do due diligence. He might have had clues that they just were not a solvent. But anyway, apparently, he did not master plan this or anything related to it. It was less than 24 hours ago he had written that SBF called me, and before that, I had very little knowledge of the internal state of things at FTX. I can do some mental calculations with our revenues to guess theirs, but it would never be very accurate. I was surprised when he wanted to talk. My first reaction was he wants to do an OTC deal, like some sort of backroom deal. It wouldn't be in the open market, but here we are. Two, as the due diligence for the deal is ongoing, I want to remind everyone, so this was before, again, it was announced that Binance had backed out of the deal. Do not trade FTT tokens. If you have a bag, you have a bag. Do not buy or sell. As soon as I finished the call with SBF yesterday, I asked our team to stop selling as an organization. Yes, we have a bag, but that's okay. More importantly, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard than even banks. So some have pointed out that basically the price for dominance that you're seeing Binance have right now across the ecosystem was their FTT tokens. That was the price that they paid. They would be worth nothing, but you would have FTX go down. Three, obviously, do not comment on the deal publicly or internally. If you are not directly involved, don't ask. We have a good team handling it. Things will play out. 4, FTX going down is not good for anyone in the industry. Do not view it as a win for us. So this was something that was written to the Binance team. User confidence is severely shaken. Regulators will scrutinize exchanges even more. Absolutely. Licenses around the globe will be harder to get, and people now think we are the biggest and will attack us more. But that's okay. We are used to being open and leading into headwinds. In fact, we embrace scrutiny. We must significantly increase our transparency, proof of reserves, insurance funds. So the Seifu insurance fund that Binance has was topped off to $1 billion. So that's in the chest in case of issues for customers, etc. A lot more to come in this area. We have a lot of tough work ahead of us, not to mention prices swinging wildly. 5, speaking of prices, as I have said many times over the years, ignore the prices. Let's keep our heads down and focus on building products people use. It has always worked over the years, and today is obviously no exception. Lastly, I wanted to say I am really proud of each and every one of you for all your hard work, and as a team, thank you. We still have many challenges ahead of us. Let's continue to push ahead and help increase the freedom of money all around the world steadily and consistently. CZ. What's up, Carlos? I actually managed to dodge this one myself, and hopefully most of you guys did. I never did use an FTX product. It was super pushed on me, right? Because I used to use this app, and I still use it, Blockfolio, just to keep track of my cryptocurrency holdings. I really always liked it for that. It used to be called Blockfolio anyway, until FTX bought it, and then it was called the FTX app. And they were trying to almost push me, especially early on when that deal had just gone through, to creating an account on the exchange. But you guys know me, I've never been a huge fan of KYC. It seemed way too commercial friendly. I didn't like how quickly FTX had kind of blown up. I'm like a slow burn sometimes with some of these companies. I have to see how they operate over time. Like Binance is something that has taken a while for me to trust, even though I had used it for certain coins, and that's grown steadily over time. But my faith, obviously, in FTX is not going to be doing that. But I do hope that Blockfolio goes back to that name, as I said before, considering I hope it even continues to operate, right? If FTX is going under, I wonder what state that will put the app itself now that that deal is not going through. It's not going to be Binance app anyway. People who had funds stuck, had accounts at FTX, were trying to sell them. According to this article here on CoinDesk, they had looked at this tweet by CL, current bid/ask on FTX accounts. People were willing to sell because, let's face it, if there's some sort of bankruptcy here situation with FTX, this could take a decade, like you're seeing with Mt. Gox play out. Could take a very long time, and people might not be getting much money. So it looks like buyers were bidding about 10 to 15 cents on the dollar for locked up funds, and sellers were generally looking to offload their balances at 20 cents to 33 cents on the dollar. So quite low. So people have been quite desperate, especially if you were one of those who had over 90% of your funds, 95%, if not all your funds on FTX. Like people are looking, like I heard on the Bankless show earlier, they talked about Andreas Antonopoulos and his quote. Exchanges are somewhere that you basically go into, do your business, and get out. Eric Voorhees has pointed out this very same thing on his Twitter recently. Exchanges should not have been for custody and for parking, especially a sizable amount of your wealth into, to YOLO into. This has been always about proof of keys, holding your keys, keeping possession of your crypto, self-sovereignty as much as possible. And it looks like a lot of people, a lot of even crypto OGs, had their a majority of their funds that were locked up on FTX thinking it couldn't go under. You had a lot who were saying, hey, there's only like a 1% chance. We talked about this in a video about 2 days ago, that there's only there's like only like maybe a 1% chance that they will go under. Like, why freak out about this? And as I had pointed out in that video, better to be do some risk management just in case. And those who did that risk management, props to them. Props to those like Heidi, a blockchain chick of crypto tips, who had been telling people, even BitBoy actually, he did a good job with that, telling folks to get their funds off of FTX ASAP. So people who are looking out for others, I think they did the right thing here, and you have to mind who you follow in this kind of space. Anyway, FTX has been having issues, as I said in the last video. FTX has been unable to process withdrawals. We strongly advise against depositing. It took them ages to just put that up. They only put that banner up, that little ribbon there, a little while ago, just maybe 2 or 3 hours ago, where people were telling, hey, maybe you should start warning people to not continue to deposit. Maybe some people don't follow the crypto news to a T, and they continue to deposit. They have automated deposits or something into FTX. Why not warn them to stop depositing? And finally, FTX did do that. And that's even if you're able to pull up the page, because oftentimes people are getting this: something went wrong. We're sorry, something went wrong while processing your request. Please try again later. So you might not have been able to even access your account to screenshot it for your own files and all of that. And it shouldn't be, I guess, too much a surprise, because we had seen this news ticker come up. Unusual Whales had shared with us, most of FTX's legal and compliance staff have quit per Semaphore. The legal and compliance staff was like, what were they doing, right? What were they even doing? I'm hearing that FTX staff aren't even aware that they're laid off or fired. There's been just very poor communication within the company itself. So they've taken to themselves to going into their Twitter bios and removing any references to FTX, changing their LinkedIns without knowing officially if they're unemployed or not. They're just removing that. So my heart goes out to those people as well. That really sucks. I imagine a lot of information was kept away from even the legal and compliance staff, as if that was larger than like a 1 or 2 man team, or if that was larger than SBF himself, right? I'm just joking a little bit here. We have to keep it light because of kind of the madness. But Alameda Research as well, they were the first ones to go down their website, as you can see, and they're the ones that are very commingled here. Like, I had seen a story yesterday that had been shared about how Alameda had gone down actually back in summer when Three Arrows Capital started to go down. Alameda was about to go bankrupt themselves, and that could have affected FTX. So FTX bailed them out with tokens that would be unlocked eventually, and that's the only reason that Alameda survived even this far. But I haven't seen that completely confirmed yet. That's just been due to some on-chain analysis that some people have been doing. But anyway, they seem to have gone down now anyway. Their site is private, as it says there. And SBF has been warning that the company could be going bankrupt if they don't get a cash infusion soon. FTX is underwater, you can see here. And as I said on Twitter, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure they're going to go under, because I don't know who would want to continue to burn money now that this is coming out. Like, why wouldn't Binance have bought FTX, given this huge opportunity to buy out a competitor that has built out such a market share, has such a brand name for itself, has influence everywhere, and has built out a lot of the infrastructure to do what they need to do? And so why wouldn't they do that? There's obviously something wrong here. And so I just see it unlikely that they'll be bailed out. They apparently even went to Wall Street first, FTX, before having to kiss the ring and bow down before Binance. So if they couldn't get any more funding, like what was it yesterday, they were looking for $5 billion in funding. It's probably more than that now based on the FTT token plummeting and that being a huge part of their balance sheet. So anyway, if Wall Street wouldn't do it, Binance isn't going to do it. Who is going to bail out FTX? FTX was the one doing the bailouts. They can't bail out themselves, clearly. But this is massive. So this is what I was talking about in the car video earlier. Dan McErdle had tweeted this out. Better comparison, I think, is Mt. Gox and looking at the size of that hole versus total ecosystem market cap. So the Mt. Gox blow up was 6.5% of crypto's market cap at the time. And the FTX blow up is huge, actually, considering how much the sector has grown in capitalization since then. It's 0.8% of market cap. So this is not being overblown. I mean, there's real reason why people are talking about contagion while everybody in crypto, and those, again, who have not been following crypto, including enemies like Suzu, are back to kind of remark on this because this is huge. I thought this was interesting. This was posted on the Block Research, that you have the amount of volumes on exchanges still being quite favorable in Binance's direction. Now Binance is up from 55% of the cryptocurrency exchange volume on October 24th to 71% today, according to research from the Block. And you have the next closest competitor being Coinbase at 9% here in the salmon color. And then you have the other exchanges there. But yeah, take a look at just how much Binance is growing. So there have been, for example, a lot of concerns if Binance did buy FTX, how much that would centralize crypto. And I agree, that would have been a real cause for concern for sure, because who would bail out Binance if Binance had bailed out FTX? Like, what is left after that? We're just basically recreating FDIC insurance has been another thing folks are saying. But still, you have Binance becoming a force here. SEC has apparently expanded the investigation into crypto platform FTX. This is an article on Wall Street Journal, but this has been already going on for months. It's been on the US's subsidiary, so FTX's FTX US, which is not directly linked to FTX, but I'm hearing some, for example, like Martini Guy telling folks you should take your funds off of FTX US just in case. I think it's always fair in these kinds of situations where contagion is still playing out that you should tell folks, be careful, take your funds off of exchanges, just in general, I think being something. But as far as this directly affecting FTX US, I don't know. I'm hearing that they are not affected and they should be fine because they're more regulated. Maybe they've been doing a better job and not doing so much phony business because the SEC has been probing them. But all this article is saying is that the SEC has now expanded their investigation into cryptocurrency platform following the implosion this week. But we don't know exactly what that means. Are they investigating the overseas exchange, FTX? Are they just going to be a little bit more scrutinous with FTX US and communications? I'm not entirely sure yet. But I really like Lefteris' take on this, who wrote in reference to a library. So we had talked about the news of library losing to the SEC and the token plummeting over 95% after being labeled a security in New Hampshire. So library had tweeted this out about 4 hours ago, increasingly looking like that while the SEC had a team of staff working to crush us, a tiny actor and one of the actual honest ones, FTX was stealing billions, and Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, was taking the time to personally meet with them. It's all so rotten. So let me get this straight, wrote Lefteris. With one hand, Gary Gensler and the SEC Gov spent U.S. taxpayer money to crash and punish an honest project like Library.com. And I do think that they're an honest project with real utility that I've used more than 99.9% of the things that I've heard about in crypto. While on the other hand, they were meeting with the criminal SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, and company to discuss regulatory strategy. You can see there 4 p.m. meeting with this person at FTX, the president president, ex-president of FTX, Brett Harrison. You have Ryan Miller, general counsel. All these people at FTX, they seem to be a priority for the SEC to help apparently shape the future of regulations, although unlikely that they'll be doing that much anymore. But this is what it looked like when you had Sam Bankman-Fried speaking before politicians to try to sway the direction in favor of regulating DeFi more and driving volume into now shady businesses like this centralized exchange, FTX. Look at what he had said, for example. Check it out.
Last thing that I'll say is if you look at what precipitated some of the 2008 financial crisis, you saw a number of bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions happening between financial counterparties, which then got repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again, such that no one knew how much risk was in that system until it all fell apart. If you compare that to what happens on FTX or other major cryptocurrency venues today, there's complete transparency about the full open interest. There's complete transparency about the positions that are held. There's a robust, consistent risk framework applied, and we're excited to work with the CFTC on our U.S. licensed and regulated venue to bring a lot of this. Last thing that I'll say is if you look at...
Wow, right? The gall with this guy. Edward Snowden himself came out and labeled SBF a criminal. And they call me a criminal, he had written in this tweet, which was the one that Sam Bankman-Fried had deleted. A competitor is trying to go after us with false rumors. FTX is fine. Assets are fine. FTX has enough to cover all client holdings. Doesn't appear to be the case. We don't invest client assets, even treasuries. Also not appearing to be the case. We have been processing all withdrawals and will continue to be. Definitely not the case anymore. So a flat out lie. Maybe his legal team had told him to delete this tweet. I don't know what's going on here, but since the announcement that Binance had signed a letter of intent, SBF has not tweeted anymore. So no update from him. I thought this was just a little bit silly, again, to lighten things up. Ethereum Jesus had decided to rename Sam Bankman-Fried Scam Bankster Fraud of Alamadoff Research instead of... you know, like Bernie Madoff instead of Alameda Research, Alamadoff. You get it. You guys get it. Yeah. Anyway. So I haven't seen this confirmed, but I've seen it retweeted a lot and talked about a lot. Would be interesting if true. We do know that apparently because of the value of FTT dropping substantially, that no longer is Sam Bankman-Fried a billionaire. He has fallen into the millionaire category, but it might be even worse than that. He may now be bankrupt completely. As it says here, Crypto Crib wrote, FTX CEO SBF has filed for bankruptcy and personally owes lenders over $650 million. So the big joke is he did it. A 30-year-old crypto billionaire wants to give his fortune away was the headline title of this Bloomberg article back on April 3rd, 2022. He has succeeded in giving it away super quickly, over 99%. Sam Bankman-Fried drives a Corolla, sleeps on a beanbag, and has a Robin Hood-like philosophy. And to be fair, he did try to warn us. Bankman-Fried warns some crypto exchanges already secretly insolvent. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports seemed to be confused. To continue with the lightness that we have here, I have a dumb question. He just tweeted, if I bought Bitcoins through FTX and FTX goes belly up, where do they go? They go to Bitcoin heaven. Bitcoin heaven. Like, Bitcoins are finite, right? Does anybody have access to them, he wrote? Or are they just lost in the ether or something forever? But I like Trevon James's response here, posted by Luke Martin.
You didn't lose your money. Now, you have your... Technically, you kind of lost your money.
Yeah. I haven't heard too much from Trevon James, but at least he was a colorful character in the YouTube space. We started off around the very same time period making videos together. Yeah, anyway... To really sum up, to get back to the seriousness of what all the implications of all this are, let's take a look at these two threads here that were posted. One by Mudit Gupta and one by Arthur Hayes. Here's the one by Mr. Gupta. What now? FTX customers in Alameda likely wrecked, but this might have a spiraling domino effect. Here are my predictions, not financial advice. Alameda might have to liquidate their positions, so their liquid holdings like FTT, Solana, Curve, Uni, Sushi, etc. may have a hard time. FTX Ventures, FTX Relationship may cause the Ventures arm to liquidate their holdings. Their investments like Near or Aptos may struggle. Investors of FTX will have a hard time, but unless they were degenerate too, they should be fine. They're not fine. We're finding out investors of FTX are some of those that are going to be maybe facing the steepest losses. Like people are pointing out Tom Brady and how he has lost millions, over 500 million. What is it? $650 million, something like that, invested in FTX. Many projects had their treasuries on FTX. They may not see that money anytime soon, forcing them to cut costs, let people go, and go down rounds. Valuations and salaries are going to come down. Regulators will use this as an excuse to tighten their grips on crypto companies, forcing more companies to move outside the big jurisdictions. Lots of retail will get wrecked, and that'll turn the already bearish market sentiment even more bearish. Brace for winter. It's going to be harsh. It's time to focus on building. We'll come back from this like we did from Mt. Gox, but it is a big setback. Will take time. I'm hearing that this is all basically Mt. Gox 2.0, which I think is apt considering the size of this exchange. Alameda paid their DeFi debt, abracadabra, before their CeFi debt, FTX, because DeFi positions are public, can affect optics, and DeFi protocols will liquidate you without a warning. That's the power of smart contracts. This cements the usefulness of DeFi. I'm more bullish than ever long term. We saw this recently with Celsius as well. Celsius, before announcing their bankruptcy, started paying down their DeFi loans. All this was visible on-chain analysis. DeFi is not forgiving. DeFi doesn't care what the court has to say because the code is the adjudicator and it will liquidate you and you'll have even bigger problems. So this is just making DeFi look quite good, in my opinion. Unfortunately, crypto is being painted with broad strokes here and made overall to look negative, whether it's CeFi or DeFi. And politicians are easily confused. They barely understand what crypto is in the first place. Ah, man. Anyway, Mudit Gupta finished by saying, stay safe, friends, and never gamble with your life savings. Arthur Hayes had some recent input as well, just about 3 hours ago. What happens now that Baron CZ passed on FTX bailout and Sam Bankman-Fried is bankrupt? The next question is, who could save FTX? Who? If CZ, the richest person in crypto, can't do the deal, then no one can do the deal. FTX customer deposits will only see recovery in a bankruptcy court, and that will take many years to sort out. Mt. Gox creditors still haven't received funds, and it's been almost a decade. Not your keys, not your coins. Expect all exchanges to guard their clients' capital closely. No more taking credit from so-called crypto prime brokers. No more polite phone calls to large traders to request a margin top-up. No mercy liquidation. Money managers that lost funds on FTX will retreat from trading initially and reduce the number of trading venues on which they operate. Order book liquidity will fall. It won't take much to push the market to much lower levels and force other over-leveraged players into distress. Remember, a lot of liquidity providers will sit on the sidelines licking their wounds a bit. If US CPI comes in hot, the consumer price inflation data, 7% or 8%, expect TradFi markets to puke into the weekend. Crypto will take another stab lower, and it is possible for a capitulation candle over the weekend when fiat rails are closed. Crypto OG diamond hands are waiting for lower levels and will step in to further increase their stacks. So these are his current price targets to the downside, which is part of why I show this to you. I have no idea where we're going here, but Arthur Hayes claims to, although he's been wrong quite a few times, so don't just trade based off of this or anything you hear here, as I always do point out. But just for entertainment value, he is saying, oops, oh, we scrolled away. He is saying $10,000 to $15,000 Bitcoin. We're already near $15,000 Bitcoin. ETH 750 to 1,000K. Again, we were last at about $1,100 for ETH. What is the price now? Now, can we look at the ticker? It's not showing me, but whatever. And Solana, $3. Assume that until proven otherwise, all counterparties have or had exposure to one of SBF's enterprises. That means if you don't believe they are being honest about their losses due to word salad statements that don't actually say much, GTFO, because a big trend you're hearing now is from different players who wish to be transparent, coming out and saying that they either had very little exposure, like Mike Novogratz Galaxy Investments saying they only had like $76 million worth of exposure. And then you have Genesis Trading saying that they're fine, that they didn't mess around with FTX. But what about those that are staying quiet? There are a lot of big players in cryptocurrency. We have to wonder about them. Although it is nice that Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire also came out and made it seem like USDC should be fine throughout the scenario. Although you did have Crypto.com stop withdrawals on the Solana blockchain for USD Tether and for USDC itself. So I haven't heard much from Crypto.com about this, but another exchange I would advise caution on is them, because they're the other big exchange that has their name plastered on arenas, including right here at Los Angeles. Oh man, I just heard on the radio an ad right after filming that video about some event taking place on November 24th. So they're still continuing to invest big on marketing Crypto.com. But anyway, I don't know. I'm hearing they're still providing like a 7% yield on there. Just tread very carefully through this period in crypto. That's all I'm going to say. Not that I've heard anything substantial or proven that's negative about them, but just pointing that out. Anyway, Arthur Hayes continues, I have been trading crypto for longer than I have been trading TradFi, and I am still speechless about what is going down. The faster we take our losses, the faster we bottom, and we set ourselves up for the Fed pivot, which will happen sometime in 2023. The worst would be for zombies to still be amongst us when yield curve control begins in earnest. So sorry for your losses, but chin up. The band is still playing, and there is money to be made in both directions. So I had tweeted this out when I had summed this up this morning based on my impressions of what's been going on, which was expect more, heavier, and hastier crypto regulation. Distrust in the industry from even more politicians, more trash talk from folks like Peter Schiff. Just stay in your lane, bruh. Coinbase stays in their lane. That's what I like about Coinbase. They don't intermingle. And a potentially longer winter. I am, however, optimistic that DeFi continues to operate as normal, showing its strength again and the power of what is really going on in cryptocurrencies, which is actually about completely removing intermediaries like FTX out of the picture by building products that are better than that. Ideally, we just have some work to go yet, but still, DeFi is looking quite good here. So, for example, you have GMX, a leverage exchange, very much like BitMEX, which Arthur Hayes founded. Their volumes were pointed out yesterday as being at an all-time high, I think $1 billion worth of volume. So that's really nice. And that could have easily been on a centralized platform. And self-custody being respected, so people urging others to take possession of their crypto, people learning about what that means. This happens in cycles and happens again and again. So that is a lot of what's been going on here with the drama related to the situation. But there was just something yesterday that I didn't get to share in my video that I thought was pretty funny. So you had Martin Shkreli come on the Up Only show. So you have like Kobe, who's pretty popular on Twitter, Do Kwon, who continues to make public appearances despite the Interpol seeking him out, and others here. So Martin Shkreli came out and told Do Kwon that jail isn't that bad. Martin Shkreli was known for some funds that he had created that apparently operated very Madoff-like as Ponzi schemes. He was arrested in 2015 and spent 7 years in jail. But let's see what he had to say to Do Kwon yesterday.
It's good to be here. Hey, Do, I just wanted to let you know jail's not that bad. It sucks, but it's not the worst thing ever, so don't fret if that. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, it's not that bad.
Good to know. I mean,
Good
you
to know.
haven't been to South Korea, Manzel.
Oh my god.
It's good to be here. Hey, Do.
Yeah, pretty awkward. Pretty awkward. So it's been just a monumental week in crypto. One for the ages. History pages are being written as we speak. And I think that this tweet summed up a lot of what this is. Yeah, jail is not that bad, apparently. He spent time in a low security prison for financial crimes, like even Do Kwan's. It could be the case that he also goes to a low security prison, but again, it's in South Korea, so I don't know. I don't know. But I like this tweet that I just saw. Man, imagine trying to explain this year in crypto to someone. I try to do it every day here with you guys. It feels like it's becoming an impossible task, it feels like, especially with this year. I don't know. You had to be there, man. You had to be there, right? And I'll leave you with the quote of the day. Thank you guys so much here for joining me and for being a part of this show and for being a part of history here with me and sharing this journey with me. It is wild. It's unbelievable. I can't believe sometimes some of what I'm reading. I really can't. Here's the quote of the day by Peter Hawkins. Blessed are those who see the dance and not just the dancers, the drama and not just the actors, the relationship and not just the relata, for they shall reside in the dynamic flow of life. I think everything that's happening here will ultimately lead crypto in the direction that will benefit it. And again, just weeding out some of the bad players that needed to be taken out of here, as Arthur Hayes pointed out, before yield curve control and the next bull market and everything else. Wouldn't it be nice if those who have been building and those who are here and those who have the power, those who really care about this industry, really care about their users and are really pushing the values that brought crypto to where it is today? I definitely hope it's the case. And so there is good coming out of this, but stay safe, guys. I hope that you didn't lose any money, but if you did lose money, remember there's going to be another day. I've lost my share of cash as well, and it always works out. Just take it day by day, and I think it's stay dynamic, my friends. You're gonna live. You're gonna make it. I promise. Take care, much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.